Hello everyone, my name is Andrew Sheng and I'm the chairman of the International Advisory Board of the Georgetown Institute of Open and Advanced Studies at Wawasan Open University. We're in this lovely setting of Homestead, the Heritage Center of Wawasan Open University in Georgetown, Penang. This is the inaugural meeting of the Georgetown Institute, and my job here is to welcome Ms. Wang Yuan, who is my very good friend. She has worked before in the World Bank, and then the Ministry of Finance China, People's Bank of China, and then recently the China Development Bank, the largest development bank in the world with more than US $2 trillion of assets. She was, the last position was chief economist of the China Development Bank and an advisor to the chairman on many policy issues. Now, Wang Yuan brings with her hands-on experience because she was in charge of the human resource training within different institutes, and especially in China Development Bank. And so, we're very lucky to have her explaining to us, sharing her experience, and telling us how China has managed to develop from literally a miracle from one of the poorest countries 40 years ago to today the second largest economy in the world. Welcome, Ms. Wang.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Andrew, for your kind introduction. Actually, I'm very happy to be invited by Wawasan University to participate in the future activities. Actually, with my own experience, my own career development, also my career experience itself, and I really appreciate the role education played in the process. As Andrew said, in the last 40 years, China experienced rapid development in the world, from one of the poorest countries, by GDP per capita, to the largest, second largest economy of the world. I think education has been playing a critical role in the process. And as you know, 40 years ago, Mr. Deng Xiaoping decided to resume university education after 10-year Cultural Revolution in China. So, education reopened to the public, to the young generation, who actually spent maybe 10 years either in rural area, like my husband and I, or in the army, or maybe in the factories, state factories. But young generation at the time was so enthusiastic for having the opportunity to be re-educated in the formal education system. And in the last 40 years, economic development, of course, the scale of education in China has been expanding, not only university level, but also vocational training, the open university like this one. And in China, we call it Central Television University because the transmission mechanism mainly through TV. And also, vocational training. But I think also we should mention the primary and secondary education, especially for the poor regions, the rural areas, especially for the girls, who should have the opportunity, because if they have very basic education, eventually, when they join the labor force, and they have better job opportunities. So I could give you a lot of examples for the education makes difference of people's life. Of course, with the rapid economic development and also information technology, I think the education still very critical for economic and technology upgrading and development. And China, of course, is pursuing, science and technology development with the basis of the basic economic development through manufacture and through the labor-intensive industries. But the upgrading of economic development really depends on the improvement of the education of the human resources. Of course, with my background as a banker, personally, I know how important not only basic education, high school, university, and postgraduate, but also the continuous education is very important for the comparative advantage of a financial institution. That's why China Development Bank has allocated a lot of resources, human resources, staff time for education for our own staff. Our former chairman, Mr. Chen Yuan, once mentioned, the most valuable asset of the bank is our own staff. So we need to continuously invest in the staff education. So we have, I should not say we did not have the budget limit, but the board had been very generous for the funding of the education activities. Of course, our staff education is important to our own institution. I think through education and the training, on the surface you could see this is something you are spending money. On the balance sheet, it looks like expenditure, but actually, gradually, it becomes, high return investment, especially when you do the business with your partners, not, the traditional partner like financial institutions in Europe, in the United States, investment banks, but especially when you start business with the partners in the emerging market, you share the experience with your partners, and you explain in the last 40 years how China moved from one of the poorest countries to the stage today, and what is the valuable lessons we had, and what is the the mistakes we made even. So I think it's also a training education, and by sharing of these experiences, we actually build the trust and policy dialogue with our business partners, and we have, in the process we also developed a very solid project, and we could finance jointly. So I think, whatever you do and whatever you try to formulate, I think education is still the most effective approach, not only for individual lives, but also for the career development and also for the national development as well.
Thank you very much. This is wonderful summing up of the key lessons from China. Number one, invest in people. Number two, invest in the rural areas. When the rural area people move to the cities and they learn by doing, they learn from manufacturing, they learn from exports, they learn from working together. So social skills are also very important. Second thing that I drew from your presentation was that China very early used technology. They used television to broadcast education to everybody, so that even in the rural areas, people can get first-hand knowledge of people at the research area. So invest in technology is very important. And then the third one, invest in partnerships. How do you work with people to get the education? So education is very, very critical. How do you see the next stage of development of universities in China today?
Yeah, and of course, as a Chinese tradition, and the parents and the families always attach greatest importance to their children's education. And this is, I could say this is the advantage of Chinese culture. But on the other hand, and everybody is trying to go through this narrow corridor to pass through the national examination to get highest education. So for years, the technical training and the vocational training has been neglected, even because families and parents would look at it as a secondary choice. But with the technology development, especially the information technology, to me, the educational level at university, needless to say, this is very important. But on the other hand, for the secondary level, vocational training, technology colleges is also very important supplementary institution for overall education system. Of course, in China we have Peking University, we have Tsinghua. They are internationally competitive universities, but obviously this is not sufficient for the whole nation, especially the big economy like China. So we need to restructure the education system to cover, all aspects for economic and social development. And also, I think that the lower level of the training, especially with the economic development, because you want to cover the all sectors and all regions, even for the females, and you do not want to leave any of the social group behind, and they should benefit from the economic development and social development. I think some of the training schools designed especially for the girls from the rural area, they acquire certain skills, say working in the manufacture sector, or even working for the household, because China nowadays is becoming an aging society. So the family helpers is in great demand. But some of the girls from the rural area, they do not have the skill, they do not have the knowledge to do that. So if you look at economic social development as a balanced process, and you need training education from all aspects I mentioned, I think.
Thank you very much. I think, if you really think through what Ms. Wang Yuan has told us, the university is part of the education process. The university is part of society. The university must understand it needs to engage and be responsive to the needs of society at all levels, especially the underprivileged, the people who have less access to knowledge. Because I think China's development was because of investment in education and education in people. But education in a much broader sense, practical, vocational, what is necessary for every level to improve. So we really are very grateful, Wang Yuan, for an honor for you to join the International Advisory Board, and we thank you, and we look forward to a great cooperation with you and sharing your experience to Georgetown and the world at large. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Thank you for the university inviting me to join. Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you.